Val Kilmer's greatest role almost didn't happen, and Kevin Costner was a major villain in that story. From director chaos to rival studios throwing elbows, Val Kilmer's Tombstone had more drama behind the scenes than on-screen shootouts. Sometimes, the world's greatest treasures are unearthed from the deepest pits of chaos. Val Kilmer's Tombstone, the iconic Western, almost slipped through the cracks of Hollywood history, buried under a mountain of production hurdles. It's a miracle it ever made it to the big screen, let alone become one of the most revered Westerns ever. But what if we told you that Kilmer's unforgettable portrayal of Doc Holliday, which is often lauded as one of his best performances, was almost never realized? Yeah, the movie nearly fell apart, and Kevin Costner, of all people, played a crucial role in that stormy tale. From director chaos to rival studios throwing elbows, Tombstone had more drama behind the scenes than on-screen shootouts. Yet, like a good Western hero, the cast and crew fought tooth and nail to get the film finished. Tombstone, how a chaos-driven production defied the odds to become a Western legend. Who would have thought that Tombstone, one of the most beloved Westerns of all time, almost ended up in the dustbin of film history? The production was plagued with drama, chaos, and frustration. Kevin Jarre, who had no directing experience, was brought on board to bring his own script to life. And though he wrote a killer script, it's often praised for its sharp dialogue. Jarre had no clue how to manage a film set. During an interview at Wizard World Comic Con, Val Kilmer himself recalled how things started to fall apart quickly. He confessed. The late actor humorously described how he and Kurt Russell could feel the first crack in the foundation when they shot the very first scene. Kilmer's words were as sharp as a cactus needle, and by the end of it, Jarre was out. Enter George P. Cosmatos, a more experienced director who took over the reins. Now, let's talk about the two directors. Jarre was a fantastic writer, but he simply didn't have the chops for directing. His inability to manage the logistics of filmmaking was clear to everyone. Russell recalled how Tombstone became a perfect storm of a movie shoot. He shared with how Kevin Costner almost killed Val Kilmer's Tombstone. If you think the drama couldn't get any crazier, buckle up, because here comes Kevin Costner. You see, the Yellowstone star was originally set to play Wyatt Earp in Tombstone, but he wasn't happy with the lack of character development. So, he dropped out and ended up playing the role in Wyatt Earp, a competing Western that would be released around the same time. This is where it gets wild. Costner, being the powerhouse he was in Hollywood at the time, reportedly used his influence to block Tombstone from receiving financing and distribution. Kurt Russell described it as playing hardball. He said, "The production was caught in a race against time to get Tombstone made before Wyatt Earp hit theaters." Russell's respect for Costner's power was palpable. But at the time, it must have felt like the universe was throwing every curveball imaginable at the Tombstone crew. Without the collective will of the team, Tombstone might have just gone the way of a dusty memory, never to be revived. Despite all the hurdles, Tombstone ultimately emerged victorious. Val Kilmer's portrayal of Doc Holliday became one of the most iconic in cinematic history. Sadly, the world lost the iconic actor recently, as Kilmer passed away at the age of 65, leaving behind a trail of unforgettable performances and a lasting impact on the big screen.